Well, hello again. This is the progress on the Continental GT 535. As you can see from the video, I have completely stripped the engine, to be honest. I had a good look through the casings, had a good examination of the crankshaft, and to be honest, the only thing that I can see is that the piston, I've talked about this before, is that the piston has picked up on the cylinder bore. I can't physically find any other damage to any other component. It all seems relatively good. Yeah. The bit that sort of scared me was the amount of swarf that I took out the bottom. Now, the manufacturer that I worked for, if there's any kind of swarf in a component, engine wise, then you're going to have to replace the engine. We don't mess about when metal filings or swarfs involved. So that was the catalyst to me completely stripping the engine. Now, when I did strip the engine and clean all the bottom casings out, there wasn't a great deal of shavings in there, and I started thinking then that I'd probably strip the whole engine. Well, not for nothing, but sort of been a bit overzealous with it and stripped it when I shouldn't have done, really. I think if I'd have taken the cylinder head off and replaced the piston and the cylinder bore, I think that would have probably been a better idea. To replace the cylinder bore and the piston and the cylinder bore would you're probably looking around 200 quid, and then you're looking at gaskets, seals, O-rings, everything. So you're probably looking at maybe another sort of £100, £150, £200 maybe more. So to do this repair, I'm probably looking at about £400 English. So it's gonna cost a bit of money to sort of rebuild it and replace a few parts. Now, what has actually happened in the meantime, when I've stripped it, I've assessed it, and I'm still not 100% convinced that I would like to just put a barrel and piston in this, to be honest. So you're looking at about £400 to put it all back together in parts. So what I did do is I had a quick look on eBay and found another engine. So this engine is out of a 2015 bike. So this was on eBay. I sent them a bit of a cheeky offer and they accepted it. So for the price of building this engine up and me being happy with that, I've managed to sort of buy another engine. Now, they did list this with 14,000 miles. So this is a 15. This is a 15 plate. This is a 2015 engine. Okay. and they listed it with 14,000 miles on the clocks. But what I did was I did a bit of research when I bought it, and I looked at the clocks, and you've got the mileage and then the decimal point. And what the seller had done is counted the decimal point as a mile. So instead of it being 14,000 miles, it's 1,400 miles. So the engine has done no miles whatsoever. So it's virtually the same engine, and it's virtually a brand new engine. It's done 1,500 miles. Yeah. So what I'm getting to is that this engine has done 1,500 miles, whereas this engine's done 6,000 miles. So for £100 more, I've managed to get a virtually brand new engine that's done 1,500 miles. So I'm pretty pleased with that. I've heard it running. It's really quiet. So yeah, so hopefully I can get this in the bike, and I'm going to give it an oil change, get it in the bike, and run it up. So that changes things at the minute. So I've got to decide what to do with this. Do I build it up and sell it, or do I box it up and keep it all for spares? Because the only damage I can see is that and that. So I've got a perfectly good cylinder head, perfectly good clutch, starter motor, camshafts, crankshaft, push rods, rocker covers. I've got a lot of spares. So I think I'm going to keep it. I think I'm going to keep it for spares. That's what I'm going to do. So the plans have kind of changed because I don't really want to mess with this engine now. All I'm going to do is just basic service on it and check it over and make sure it's all okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move on to the chassis. So I'm going to get rid of all this. I'm going to box it up. I'm then going to put this out of the way, and then I'm going to get the bike on the lift, and then I've got handlebar work to do. Teddy? Yeah, sorry. So I'm going to start on the chassis. So I've got handlebar work to do. I'm going to drop these below the top yoke. I'm going to go through all the brakes. I'm going to clean everything off. I'm going to get the battery carrier out. I don't like the look of this. This is too untidy for me. So I'm going to pull the wiring harness off. Tidy the wiring harness up. Sort out the rear suspension. Service the rear brakes. Do a few bits and bobs. And so I'm going to put the chassis on the lift. So the next video, the chassis will be on the lift, and then I'll do chassis work on it, because there's no point in doing any more engine work. Not with a 1,500 mile engine. It's pointless touching it. So I'm going to start with the chassis. So that'll be wheels off, checking this suspension components, taking the brakes off, a few other bits and bobs, checking the fork seals. Yeah, so that changes plans massively, but we'll move on to the chassis next instead of that pile. So that's what we're going to do. Yeah. Okay. Cheers.